Location: Hanover, Germany. Time: April 5th, 2022. A quiet suburb. Officers of Germany's Federal Criminal Police Office, BKA, enter an unremarkable data center. Inside, rows of server racks, blinking blue lights. One of the technicians disconnects a power cable. At that very moment, on the other side of the planet, thousands of users see the same message on their screens. Site closed. It was Hydra, the largest darknet marketplace in the world, with a turnover of $5 billion. The police celebrated victory. They believed the backbone of the digital drug mafia had been broken. At that moment, they still didn't understand what they had actually found. They didn't destroy the system. They merely cleared the space for something far more efficient, aggressive, and dangerous. In the depths, where light never reaches the bottom, the tentacles of a new monster had already begun to stir. The death of Hydra created a vacuum. Imagine a giant shopping mall that suddenly vanished, leaving millions of buyers and thousands of sellers out in the street. Billions of dollars in annual turnover were at stake. A war began, later dubbed by analysts as the Great Redistribution. 3 players stepped onto the stage: OMG, Mega, and Blacksprut. They fought for the legacy, flooding the internet with ads and launching hacking attacks against each other. But while the old-school titans bled out, a 4th player was growing in the shadows. A project with an ambitious name: Kraken. Who stood behind it? In darknet circles, whispers spoke of old-school admins. Others claimed it was an alliance between law enforcement insiders and hackers. But how did a structure born from ashes manage to surpass competitors with a decade-long history in just a few months? By May 2026, the question answered itself. According to reports from Global Ledger and Chainalysis, Kraken didn't just survive, it won. With a turnover of $1.3 billion in Bitcoin alone in less than a year, it became the undisputed leader of the Russian-speaking segment. But how did an anonymous platform scale to the level of an international corporation while remaining invisible to Interpol? The answer lies in the architecture of chaos. But that's not even the strangest part. To understand how Kraken took the throne, we need to return to ground zero, to the place where money smells like electricity and code. The darknet isn't just websites for buying illegal goods. It's a highly complex ecosystem of trust in a world where no one trusts anyone. In 2015, a monopolist emerged in this market, Hydra. It introduced the system of dead drops, or magnets, turning product delivery into an endless quest for couriers across the CIS. It was a perfect machine, but it had one vulnerability: centralization. All servers, all wallets, all threads converged at a single point. When German police seized Hydra's servers, the market descended into anarchy. Imagine the chaos. Thousands of dealers left without platforms, their funds frozen, their security at risk. At that moment, the customer became the most valuable resource. OMG and Mega made a classic mistake. They tried to become Hydra 2.0. They copied the old design, the old methods, but Kraken took a different path. They didn't just build a marketplace, they built a brand. They launched an aggressive marketing campaign the world had never seen. Vans with huge Kraken signs appeared in central Moscow. YouTube ads disguised as tech reviews flooded the platform. They acted like a Silicon Valley startup, not an underground den. And this is where it gets more complicated. Kraken understood. To win a market war, it's not enough to have the best software. You need the best logistics. And while competitors argued over fees, Kraken was building its financial laundering system. By 2025, Kraken's structure resembled a fractal. At the center, the council, core team. Anonymous administrators responsible for code and security. Below them, regional managers. Further down, warehouses and carriers. But Kraken introduced an innovation, a micro-franchise system. Anyone with a laptop could open their own branch using the platform's infrastructure. This allowed them to expand not only into major cities, but also into remote regions where the darknet had previously been an exotic concept. How do you launder $1.3 billion? That's the key question in any Chainalysis investigation. Kraken's scheme was brilliantly simple and deadly effective. Bitcoin flows from buyers didn't go directly to sellers. They entered a massive internal mixer. There, coins were split into thousands of fragments, mixed with legitimate transactions, and then routed to exchanges through intermediaries, so-called drops. Crypto turned into cash, cash into real estate in Dubai, or investments in legal IT startups. It was an endless cycle. According to Global Ledger, Kraken's turnover grew by plus 68% year over year, faster than Nvidia during the AI boom. Investigations show Kraken's tentacles extended far beyond the CIS. Communication nodes were identified in the Netherlands, secure hosting in offshore zones, and developers rumored to be working from co-working spaces in Southeast Asia. This was the first decentralized criminal corporation in history. They had 24/7 support, a marketing department, and even their own security service that tracked down infiltrators and informants. But a system of this scale can't remain unnoticed forever. At Chainalysis headquarters in New York, analysts began spotting patterns. Massive volumes of Bitcoin leaving specific wallet clusters always carried the same digital signature. Cyber police across multiple countries began assembling the puzzle. It turned out that behind many major crypto exchange hacks in recent years were the same wallets that serviced Kraken. Hacker money and drug money were flowing into the same funnel. What they discovered next shocked investigators. They were looking for a group of teenage hackers, but instead uncovered an entire shadow economy that had begun influencing real-world currency markets. The stakes skyrocketed. One of Kraken's administrators made a fatal mistake. He logged into his personal email without a VPN for just 3 seconds. Those 3 seconds were enough to start the countdown. One mistake changed everything. In the digital world, anonymity is an armor. It's thin ice. In 2025, one of Kraken's high-ranking employees, responsible for dealer relations, attempted to cash out a large sum through an exchange office in Tbilisi. He used a trusted channel, but overlooked one detail. The exchange had already been under FBI surveillance for a month. Investigators didn't arrest him. They started watching. Through him, they traced a chain of drops. Using transaction graph analysis, Chainalysis identified the platform's cold wallets. Leaks began. Internal Kraken chats fell into the hands of competitors from Mega. An information war erupted. Someone leaked a courier database from one of the platform's stores. Targeted arrests began across Eastern Europe. The system started consuming itself. Kraken's administration, suspecting betrayal, began freezing the accounts of its own sellers. Panic spread. In the darknet, trust is more valuable than gold, and once it disappears, the market collapses within hours. But Kraken was too big to simply vanish. It began to transform. February 2026, Operation Tentacles. Simultaneous raids in 5 countries. In Thailand, on a luxury villa, authorities detain a man believed to be the chief architect of Kraken's financial module. During the search, hardware wallets are found with access to assets worth over $200 million. At the same time, in Europe, the platform's main mirrors are taken offline. It seemed like the end. The king is dead. But when cybersecurity experts gained access to the servers, they discovered something unsettling. The main database was empty. Just hours before the raid, an automated wipe script had been triggered. The man in the Thai villa turned out to be a decoy, a hired manager. The real owners of Kraken, the ones controlling billion-dollar flows, had disappeared days before the operation. They moved assets into Monero, a cryptocurrency that is nearly impossible to trace, and dissolved into digital noise. It was inevitable. Law enforcement got headlines, but not the head of the beast. As of May 2026, Kraken is officially considered dismantled. But the numbers tell a different story. Yes, the main platform is gone, but in its place, dozens of smaller sites have already emerged, using the same code and financial gateways. The total turnover of the top 5 markets, despite all the arrests, has exceeded $1.85 billion. Kraken showed the world that the darknet has entered the stage of corporate immortality. There is no single center to destroy. It's a distributed virus. Some administrators may now be in prison, but others, the smarter ones, are already buying new passports and hiring new developers. The war on the darknet is like trying to empty the ocean with a spoon. Every time authorities report a victory, they are merely performing natural selection, making the surviving criminals smarter, more cunning, and richer.